Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. Owlcat has finally announced the release date for Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. It's going to be coming out this year, in fact, December 7th, 2023. Now, I want to say right off the bat, this is something I'm very excited about. Obviously, I've done quite a bit of content regarding Rogue Trader, and I am excited for the game's full release. It's my first exposure to the Warhammer universe, and I think it's absolutely fantastic thus far, so I can't wait to dive into a full game regarding all of this incredible lore. All that being said, I do have some reservations regarding the game being released this year, and it seems like some of you all do as well, so let's go ahead and talk about it. So first and foremost, obviously this is an Owlcat game, which is part of the reason I'm so excited for it, because Owlcat has a very good track record with me. In fact, the video I released a couple of weeks ago specifically talked about how Wrath of the Righteous is one of my favorite games of all time. That being said, when it comes to launches, Owlcat does have a bit of a track record. So let's start with their first game, at least that I know of, Pathfinder Kingmaker, which had an absolutely awful launch that was very similar to what you might have experienced if you played Cyberpunk on consoles when it first released. It was basically extremely buggy, almost unplayable. And to be honest with you, even now, although it is in a much better place and it is playable, it's not a game that I would necessarily call stable, right? Then we move on to Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, which had a significantly better launch, right? It released in a state where, depending on what mythic path you chose, and mythic paths were basically specializations that could also change your story in pretty significant ways. Depending upon what mythic path you chose, you would still experience a lot of bugs, but you could still actually finish the game. But the fact of the matter is, some of the mythic paths were flat out broken. In fact, I know this because I did a Let's Play for Wrath of the Righteous, and the path I chose was Lich, and I ended up getting swarmed with a bunch of people saying, hey, Lich is completely broken right now. You can't finish the game on this path. Are you sure you want to do this? And I basically came with this perspective of hopefully everything will be patched out by the time I get to the third act when things get really, really bad. And that turned out to be the case. We were able to finish the Let's Play with no problem. But bottom line, in my opinion, and I think in the opinion of a lot of people that played Wrath of the Righteous when it was first released, it came out before it should have. It probably needed about a month, maybe even 2 months more of patches before it should have been released to the public, despite the fact that it's an amazing, incredible game that I really, really had a lot of fun with. So when Owlcat first announced Rogue Trader, I was looking forward to a further upward swing as far as their launches go. I'm not looking for anything perfect. To be honest with you, I'm kind of hoping for a launch that's similar to Baldur's Gate 3, right? Where you get an Act 1 that's basically flawless. You get an Act 2 that has a few bugs here and there, but for the most part, it's very acceptable. And then there's an Act 3 that really has a lot of bugs and performance issues and needs more help. But overall, when you look at the complete package, as I said in my review, I feel like that game, it was not released too early. It wasn't released in a state that I found to be unacceptable. And I'm hoping for the same of Rogue Trader. Not for everything to be perfect, not for it to have no bugs, but just to release in a state that is playable, feels for the most part clean, and is very, very stable in comparison to Owlcat's previous releases. And what gives me pause about that is the fact that when you look at the release time for Rogue Trader, we've had the alpha, and then we got the beta, right? One version of the beta. And it appears we're not going to get another beta update, right? So that version of the beta we have now is what we'll continue to have until the game releases. That's not the way it worked with Wrath of the Righteous. In Wrath of the Righteous, you had multiple major updates to the beta that provided more content for players to play around with, and more importantly, report bugs that they experience to try to help Owlcat make the experience as clean as possible. And so the fact that we're not getting that with Rogue Trader, and it at least feels like it's releasing a little bit earlier in the development timeline than Wrath of the Righteous did, All of that together gives me pause. Now, I think it is worth stating that one, at least from the content that we have been able to play, Rogue Trader is a significantly less complicated game than Wrath of the Righteous because it doesn't have all of these specializations or mythic paths that completely change your story and radically change your mechanics, at least not from the content that we've been able to see of the game thus far. It seems a lot closer to Kingmaker than it is to Wrath of the Righteous. So definitely still feels like an Owlcat game with all of their deep storylines, great writing, fully fleshed out party members, all of the great stuff that I appreciate about their games, but it just doesn't have the same level of complexity, which I'm totally fine with. I don't feel like all games have to be as layered and complex as Wrath of the Righteous is. And so it could be that this game has a shorter development time span because it's just not all the different bells and whistles that Owlcat has to deal with. The other big reservation that I have is even though we only get a very, very brief snippet of the ship combat, it certainly didn't look any different from what we had experienced in the beta. And if you had seen my review of the beta, that was definitely one of my largest concerns. Feeling like ship combat is just not all that great and not something that I'm looking forward to in the full release. And this is kind of been a recurring subject with Owlcat games, where sometimes they put in these mini games that a lot of people don't enjoy, whether it be Kingdom Management and Kingmaker or Crusade Management and Wrath of the Righteous. I'm actually an outlier on those subjects. I enjoy Kingdom Management and Crusade Management quite a bit, which makes it much easier to make those guide videos that I put out for you all about Crusade Management and how to handle that in Wrath of the Righteous. But ship combat just doesn't feel the same, and I've been trying to figure out why. And I think a big reason for me is ship combat doesn't feel tightly woven into the story. Like they did a great job of that in Kingmaker with Kingdom Management, where everything you did in the Kingdom Management system, it felt like it directly related to the storyline that you were going through. And so it all felt very purposeful. They did that to some degree as well with Crusade Management. Honestly, I feel like not as good a job was done with that. I really missed the curses system that was in Kingdom Management. For those of you who have played both games, I felt like that was something that the Crusade Management system, what they decided to do instead as far as you finding artifacts, didn't feel as tightly woven into the campaign you were going through. And so I didn't enjoy it as much, but it still felt purposeful, right? Whereas in Rogue Trader, the minigame, it really just feels to me like a minigame. It doesn't feel like something that's tightly woven into the storyline and is a necessary part of your adventure. Now, all of that being said, what we got from ship management in the beta is probably a very, very sparse, dumbed down version of what we'll get in the full game. So it could be, once again, that once the full game comes out, all of these reservations that I have are blown out the water, and I just feel this way because I haven't seen enough content from the actual full game. But it's just where I kind of stand as of right now. Regardless, I hope to be wrong. I hope we get an extremely stable game. I'm going to be playing the crap out of this no matter what. And I'm going to be doing content a little bit differently for Rogue Trader. You know, for Baldur's Gate 3, I kind of polled the community and I went along what you all wanted to do. And so we're still making our way through the Shadowheart games and things of that nature. Won't be that way for Rogue Trader. Rogue Trader, I know exactly what I want to do. We're going to be doing things my way. I'm going to be starting out with that Let's Play series right from day one. Regardless of what bugs or issues are happening, we're just going to go with it. And I'm really, really looking forward to the experience of being able to play with all of you. Owlcat has announced that co-op is going to be available in this game. I think I want to jump into co-op from the very first live stream. Those of you who that's going to be too chaotic and you want to just be able to see more of the story, you can always watch the Let's Play series and that'll give you an idea of what the story is like. But I think for the live stream, I want to do a better job of trying to pull in the community as much as possible. So really, really excited for the release of this game. Can't wait to see what Owlcat comes up with. Really hoping that they have a successful, fantastic launch. And yeah, let me know down in the comments. Do you all feel the same way? Is this something you're looking forward to? See you on the next video. Take care.